Today is a story of courage, persistence, and hard work. Today, I'm speaking with a very special guest. Her name is Kara, and Kara has been part of the Food Freedom Program. And today, she's going to share her story. So, if you have ever struggled with your weight, being on diets, or your body image, this episode is for you.
Welcome to the What's Eating You podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Giorgio, and I'm a clinical psychologist.
Kara, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here today. What made you come on this episode?
Thanks for having me, Steph. I'm really excited to be here today and chat about food freedom and the program and the work I've been doing with you and the group. Yeah, so really excited to unpack that and talk about how I got here and the changes it's made to my life and where to next. Yeah.
Thank you so much, because I know this can obviously be a sensitive topic for a lot of people to talk about. So let's just maybe start, Kara, with how did you get here? Tell us a little bit about your history with your relationship with food.
Yeah, so I suppose if I tell you a bit about little Cara perhaps and the dots that I've been able to join and how I got here. So I suppose firstly what got me here was my ADHD diagnosis. So late diagnosis of ADHD. However, there were warning signs and things that have happened since I was very little that make sense now that perhaps didn't always make sense. Understanding how all of that has impacted, so the ADHD diagnosis, how that's impacted my relationship with food and body image and eating and all of that. I was always a kid that loved learning. I was always really busy. Mum, has always said that she could never keep me busy enough or stimulated enough. I always needed activities and things like that to do. And I remember we were on holidays actually with my parents when my daughter was almost 2, and I said to Mum then, I think she's got ADHD, and Mum said, no, she's fine. You were just the same as a kid. You're exactly the same. She was diagnosed a couple of years later, and then that's when, for me, things started to really fall into place. I probably always knew that my brain was a little bit different as a kid. So for me, school and learning came very, very easy. But one thing though, and no one ever believes me when I tell them this, I've actually never been able to study for an exam in my life. And I've got 2 degrees, one a master's degree. And when I say to people that I've always struggled with focusing, starting tasks, studying and things like that, I guess on the surface it wouldn't seem like that. I've got those perfectionist type tendencies, the people pleasing, I suppose for me, the hyperactivity part came out at home a lot, but at school and probably now at work as an adult, all that hyperactivity is inside and in my brain. So my brain is a very busy place, and I probably appeared as a kid at school to have everything together, really getting good results at school, a people pleaser, all of that sort of thing. But inside I was always exhausted and running on, I guess, that low level of dopamine as someone with ADHD has. And for me, one way to spike that dopamine was food. And through that, I suppose I've struggled a lot with eating and food choices and learning about the ADHD and how that impacts different parts of your brain and your executive functioning. So for me, something I really struggled with was always food planning, meal planning, food preparation, all of that. And not because I know now it's not because I'm lazy or I've got no willpower or things like that. It's actually because there's something in my brain that's wired a little bit differently to other people's. And finding food freedom has just been, it's been life-changing for me, really. It's just changed my outlook on food. And then that's flowed on to other areas of my life as well.
Wow. And I'm really happy you mentioned the ADHD, because a lot of women don't get assessed or don't look into it because they're like, oh, I'm not hyperactive, I'm not jumping up and down, I did okay in school. But your difficulties with the dopamine, a lot of it was around food. And it also affected you in a sense that meal planning, sticking to meals, food preparation was incredibly difficult, which leads to negative thoughts. I'm a bad mom, I'm disorganized, I'm lazy, I'm not good enough. So if you're listening to this and you're having these thoughts, know that it could be something else in your brain that's going on. So When did the issues with food start for you, Cara?
Probably, I would say when it became really noticeable for me would be in my sort of late teens, early 20s, when I had a little bit more independence and things, where I probably had an upbringing where you would say that the food on offer was pretty healthy, is how I'd describe it. And I guess when I moved out of home and things and became independent, that's when the world opened up. It was a bit of a Disneyland sort of situation where, everything was available and I could get whatever I wanted when I wanted. Yeah, that's probably for me when I started noticing. And then I guess through my 20s and 30s, it was around, I tried so many different ways of establishing my health, losing weight, getting to what I thought was optimal health. I'd be able to achieve that and maintain it for a little bit, and then I couldn't maintain it any longer. And I always used to think, oh, it's because I'm lazy, I can't do this, or I've got no willpower, I can't stick to things. And looking back now, it's not because of that at all, because I can tell you that every food and body image always consumed my thoughts, like took up so much brain space. So it wasn't because of that lack of motivation or wanting to, it's that ADHD aspect that really played into it.
So you grew up in a relatively, would you say, healthy household? Your parents were quite healthy, and
Yep.
this is another thing that people really struggle with ADHD. Growing up, their meals are planned, their mum's helping them with their lunchbox, dinner's ready. So it's not until you do move out and it is Disneyland, you get your own independence, you can drive, you can go to drive-throughs, and especially for people who grew up in strict households or relatively healthy households, it's exciting. Oh my God, I can have all this chocolate and I can have ice cream. And it's such a common pattern I see. But also, Cara, is you no longer have, if you move out of home or go to college or whatever, you don't have your parents making those meals. You're choosing what to eat. And with ADHD, that can be incredibly challenging, especially when you have difficulties with impulsivity around food. So what you're saying is did you start to try different diets in an attempt to lose weight? And did you find that with each of those diets, what happened? What happened physically? What happened mentally?
Yeah, so I suppose initially I'd see success because I was very strict and probably imposed a lot of rules onto myself, which initially that structure and things, it was new, it was exciting. Yes, I can keep doing this, I can maintain this. I would see results quite quickly. So that was motivating for a bit. But then I suppose balancing that with other life commitments and things, that was a big sort of, that was huge to manage, let alone what else I had to work through. So I guess just being able to maintain that and build it into my life, but understanding now too that it's not because of I can't do those things. I absolutely can do the meal planning, the balanced eating, all that sort of stuff. Like I can do that. But understanding now that the way my brain's wired and how I think and how I approach tasks and what I need in terms of structure and that to make sustainable change, that's something that's all come through food freedom.
Yes. The start of a diet, it is really appealing to someone with ADHD because they think, oh, I'm going to change my life. Like, this is it, food planning, and this is what I need. This is the ultimate plan. And people do go through a honeymoon phase when they start a new plan or start a new diet, but you realize that it was not sustainable for you. So, what made you join Food Freedom, Cara?
Yeah, so I suppose it started with my ADHD diagnosis and then sort of working with you a little bit around unpacking that and understanding how that ADHD impacts different aspects of my life. And I think the bit that's always been missing, I finally found in that addressing the part that I've never addressed. So through diets or programs and things, it's always been about like the food and the movement. Whereas this is something that has been completely different in that it was incorporating the mind and my thinking and my emotions and beliefs. And I took a chance on it because I thought, how many times have I tried something and it's worked for a little bit, but I thought, I've not tried anything like this before. I'll give it a go, see what happens. And I'm so glad I did. And I'm genuinely like surprised at how quick I've seen change and how I've been able to implement it. And it's not been taxing or difficult at all. It's actually been, it's made such a difference. Like, it's freed up so much other space in my brain for different things in my life. I would continuously think of food all day, every day. And now with food freedom, I can eat what I want when I want. And then I've got time now to do other hobbies. And I actually enjoy cooking and planning food and being in the kitchen now, whereas that used to be a massive chore before food freedom. So yeah, it's nice that I've found food freedom, but through that it unlocked other interests and made some great connections as well with the other people in the group.
So much
fantastic.
So much to unpack. So for anyone who's listening, they might be thinking, yeah, but what is food freedom? Like, what is this thing that people are talking about? How would you describe to someone who's struggling with their relationship with food? They've tried diets, they've tried the shakes, they've tried to just change their exercise. How would you describe what food freedom is and how it's different from that? Do you feel tired, overwhelmed, and feel as though you're drowning in everyday tasks? You could have ADHD. We have a free quiz on our website that you can take that can help you get answers today. Use the link below and take the quiz. Help is closer than you think.
Yeah, so I think it's like I said, it's tapping into that aspect that you probably don't address in other programs. So the mind aspect, which I think is the key. Yeah, so I think the structure of the program helps. But again, ADHD, that structure is absolute gold. Things that I've got the most from the program would be the weekly food logs that we submit to you, Steph, and then we get the feedback videos. Like, that was so insightful, and I've been able to implement so much change from that and learn so much as well. So that was, for me, that was a huge aspect of the program that's been so helpful. The other part is the weekly group Zoom calls. I always thought that I was the only one whose mind worked like this or had these challenges, and to find a group of people who are very similar to me in terms of how their brain works, their relationships with food, and at similar stages in their lives as well, professionally, personally, all of that. It's been quite reassuring to know that it's actually something that a lot of people have to deal with, and it impacts a lot of people in different ways, and having that connection, not just in those group calls, but outside of the group. So we have the group, the chat that we have, and every day we're in there chatting to each other. And even outside of it, I've made connections with some people from the group that we've taken offline, and it's been really nice to meet other people and make some friends, which I didn't expect to do, really. I didn't know what to expect, but I've been, really surprised. And it's like a little community that's built, and that's thanks to you, Steph.
Well, thank you for trusting the process. And I'm so glad to hear that the community has been such a valuable part. And that's why we do the group Zoom. Some people are a bit hesitant and they're like, oh, can I work with you one-on-one? And I did that for so many years. I did one-on-one for so long. And I just found with that type of model, people don't really remember what to do. They sometimes feel alone. You can't really reach out to your therapist. Not that this is therapy, it's sort of a hybrid of coaching and psychological approaches. But that's why I think it works, is because with ADHD and eating issues, group work is actually one of the most evidence-based, and that's why we did it. So, Cara, you were one of those people who sort of had a preference to lose weight. And this is a really huge part of the women we work with. They come to me and they're like, yeah, but Steph, I want to lose weight. I need to lose weight. My doctor says I need to lose weight. And part of that journey was, and I remember asking you, are you willing to sort of put this weight loss goal on the back burner so we can work on your mindset? How did you find putting that weight loss goal on the back burner, and how has it influenced you or impacted you?
Yeah, so I suppose there's a few parts to that. It was something that I had to really trust and put a pin in and say, this is something that I can come back to any time, but I know I need to address other things. So prior to joining Food Freedom, I'd lost like 25-ish kilos. So in the last 12 months, I've lost a lot of weight, but I still felt what was missing was the bit that Food Freedom gives you. And that's when I sort of said, well, I'll put a pin in that. I can come back to that anytime. And I guess just being able to trust the process was a big part of it. So a lot of it was facing fears and going against what I probably imposed on myself was rules around food and eating, and just being brave enough to jump in and give it a go. And I've been surprised. Like, it's not as scary as I thought it was. It hasn't been it's not made a negative impact at all. In fact, I don't know where I'd be now if I hadn't have found Food Freedom. Yeah, it's really been a case of trusting the process and being prepared to sort of step out of your comfort zone, because at times I've had to really do that and really, as you would say, put thoughts on trial and really test beliefs and things.
Can you think of an example? Can you think of an example where you tested a belief or you did an experiment? Because these are big parts of the work. So, for example, people eating a food that they think is going to make them gain weight, or can you think of a specific time you stepped out of your comfort zone or you tested a belief?
Yeah, I can think of lots. A couple of the things that I've been able to overcome were my rules around eating carbs, particularly bread. I would not let myself eat bread every day prior to Food Freedom. And if I did eat it, it would be a once a day thing. That's it. That's something that I've been able to change, in that if I do have bread at breakfast and at dinner, like, that's okay. Like, nothing's going to happen. The other thing is around the eating times. So I would be really strict and say no eating after 7 p.m., which then would often trigger that binge eating cycle. And I know when I started Food Freedom, you do the assessments and things sort of to see where you are in terms of disordered eating and things. And I know that my results at the pre-assessment before I started the program showed I was in that really high range of having binge eating disorder. And, that's changed significantly. It's really dipped since I've been through the program, but I wouldn't have been able to see that change if I hadn't have put those thoughts out there and tested them and been prepared to be a little bit scared and trust your process.
That's right. I remember Cara had this fear of eating late at night. It's going to make her gain weight. And one of the biggest shifts, I think, for you was when we said to you, Cara, what is your expectation of yourself? Are you wanting to never eat at night? Is that the life you want to live? And we had to really reframe, what does a healthy, balanced life look like for you? And does that involve eating late at night sometimes? Do you remember that?
I do, and I often think of that, like, and that's something I keep telling myself too. If I ever have any doubts, or if I'm having a day where I'm sort of second guessing what I'm doing, I just say, look, what does my healthy adult look like? What do I want? And really looking at that, when I realized that partway through the program, it was, what really unlocked a lot of the freedom that I found around food, in that actually I don't want to not be able to eat at nighttime. If I'm hungry, I want to be able to have a snack at nighttime, and it doesn't matter if it's at 8:30. If I'm hungry, then that's what I'll have. And I always think as well, if it was a friend or a family member, or if it was my daughter or my husband that were hungry at 8:30, I would say, get something to eat. Like, so it's around as well that perfectionism, I think, and being as kind to myself as I am to other people.
Yes, because I love that you used that language. I'm so proud of you. So in Food Freedom, we talk about growing this healthy, compassionate adult part that we're not born with, because people with eating struggles often have this real critical part. You shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't be doing that. You should exercise more. And until you grow, this part will always dominate. But people try to control this critical part with diets and exercise and criticism. But kindness and compassion is the key, which you changed a lot. One question to Cara, which a lot of people fear, is, yeah, but Steph, if I do the program, if I put weight loss on the back burner, I'm going to gain weight. So I'm curious to know, and not that this is about your weight, but over the course of the program, did allowing yourself to eat what you wanted to eat when you felt like eating it, doing these experiments and not trying to lose weight, did you actually gain weight? Did you stay the same, or did you notice your weight change?
So my weight did change throughout the program. I weigh less now than what I did when I started, and
Wow.
that's been without trying to lose weight throughout it. So I think, for me, that's been, like I said, I'd put a pin in losing weight or continuing to lose weight for the time being. But to come through it knowing that I've been able to have that freedom of choice with food and remove all of the rules and still have lost weight and not gained weight, for me, that's been exactly what I hoped for in the program, in that I'm addressing all that aspect that wasn't there, that I needed to teach myself and that I needed to work through, and coming through with, because I was worried, to be honest, that I would end up putting on quite a bit of weight, particularly in the first couple of weeks of the program where you do challenge us in terms of what we eat. And that was really big, I think, coming in and facing that fear. So
That would have
it's
been
made a difference.
so scary because you came in, you're like, I've lost 25 kilos, but I know psychologically I need to make changes because the losing the weight, people can get there. People can lose weight, but it's after that, 95% of people within a 5-year period will put the weight back on. And I believe it's because they don't have the psychological infrastructure and a system that sets them up for life. The systems you learn in Food Freedom is a structure for life. So let me get this straight. You ate whatever you wanted to eat. You ate chocolate. You ate all the foods you ever restricted. And then your weight had actually dropped or reduced at the end of the program. Why do you think that is? How is that possible?
Yeah, good question. I think it shows, doesn't it, that the rules and the rules that we impose on ourselves actually are pointless. Like they really don't mean anything. Like I just wish I'd found this earlier, because I had been so strict with the rules and denying myself of things, restricting, and knowing that all along I could have been quite happy about it, and for it not to have taken up so much of my brain space, it would have been, I think, it would have made a huge difference for me.
Yeah. And it's all about when you actually give yourself permission, you're like, I can have chocolate anytime, any day. People think, oh my God, I'm just going to eat chocolate all day, every day. You might for a little bit, but the permission is really what sets you free. Whereas when you've got a food rule, when you're like, I shouldn't be eating this, I can only have bread once a day, that causes like tension and stress and cortisol, and your body's not going to feel safe to relax and de-bloat and allow yourself to be where you want to be. So did you find that reverse psychology helped of giving yourself permission? Did you find you didn't want it as much, or your food preferences shifted?
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. Food preferences certainly did shift. I think because I could have whatever I wanted whenever I wanted, I probably make better choices now and eat a more balanced diet. And I think it's because I can have it now. It's not seen as something that's extra special or something that I should only eat in secret or whatever. So one thing I used to do is push out my hunger. So sometimes I might only eat once or twice during the day and think that was me being good. But then which would that disordered eating, which is then kicking at nighttime, and I'd eat a day's worth and then some of an evening type of thing. Whereas now I would eat foods that I would normally have restricted as part of, I build it into my day. So I might have a little bit of chocolate with lunch or at afternoon tea or something like that, and just sticking to that structure. And I know it almost sounds like it's too simple, but it's the structure of making sure I'm eating consistently throughout the day. It's just made such a big difference. And also to the way my brain works. I think on those days where I was pushing out my hunger all day, I think that's why I would struggle around dinner times and things, is I didn't have, by the end of the day, the energy, the capacity to make decisions.
Yeah.
So decision fatigue was a big one. Whereas now I actually look forward to cooking dinner every night. And I've also, because I'm not consumed with food and making sure that I adhere to all of these ridiculous rules I had, I've got time to do other things. So I've started my own veggie garden. So I grow lots of veggies and stuff now. Yeah. My daughter and I will go out there and pick stuff to put in dinner and that sort of thing. Yeah, that's been a big change. And I guess as well, no, my daughter's also got ADHD. It's something that I wanted to sort of set her up with as well, not having the same challenges, I suppose, that I've had.
And you're setting such a great example. And what I love, I remember, Cara, when we drew the pie chart of life. So we draw a pie chart and I ask people to sort of divide their life. How much is taken up by weight, shape, size, exercise, body weight, work, friends. And I remember your pie chart was quite body weight, size heavy. But now it sounds like you've got new hobbies, you're building a veggie garden, teaching your daughter new things. Do you think that preoccupation with weight, shape, and size has reduced, or how much impact it has on your life?
Oh, for sure. It has reduced. It's reduced a lot, but it's also the impact it has on me has reduced as well. I think one of the things, and I know we spoke about it earlier today in the group, is around not waiting for the when I. So for me, often I'd be like, well, I'm not going to wear that. I'll wear that when I lose weight or when I look different or whatever. And I think just being able to take yourself out of your comfort zone, which at times it's really uncomfortable, but I guess it's one of those things where if you keep doing things the way you always did them, you're never going to evolve, you're never going to change. I'm never going to get to where I want to be. Just little things like wearing different pieces of clothing I wouldn't normally wear, or I think you say it quite a bit, Steph. Just wear the dress. Just wear that. They don't save it. Just wear it. And that's something that I carry through a lot too. I think we're going on holiday soon overseas, and you normally be worried about what I'm going to wear and bathers and all that sort of thing. Whereas now I'm just like, I'm going as I am. That's what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a great time with my husband and my daughter, and no one's going to care what I look like. They're going to be worried about what they look like probably. And I'm just going to enjoy it and make the when I now.
I love that. And body image is something we do target in Food Freedom. And I know, Cara, you achieved your goal. You stopped binge eating. You did amazing, but you chose to stay on and do the program for another 2 weeks, another 12 weeks. What led you to stay on? And how have you found doing it a second time round? Because I think this is linked to body image as well.
Yeah, so a few reasons. Firstly, I think the community. I get a lot out of the community. So that's something that brought me back is having that support and the community around having the being able to sort of check in as well with the group for my own accountability, for my own progress, because I guess while I've tried to move away from that perfectionism mindset, I always want to be evolving and making improvements. Knowing that in the first round, I really knocked the eating and the food on the head. This time I wanted to focus more on the body image side of things. And I think I've been able to do that, and while still learning about the food stuff as well, so adding to what I learned around the eating and the food structure. But this time, yeah, focusing for me more on body image, which has been something that's been a struggle for me for as long as I can remember. So yeah, I'm still working through that, and
Yes.
I'll probably come back for the next round of Food Freedom.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. I think I'll come back again, but it's taught me so much, and I think just being able to expose myself to different situations that I would normally be petrified to do, it's just given me the confidence, and also the not that I needed the permission, maybe within myself I did, but just to wear that something I wouldn't. Yeah.
Can you think of an example? Because this is part of the body image module, is really about not waiting till you've lost weight to wear the dress, not waiting for the special occasion, because the only way to prove to your brain that it's safe and okay is to do these little behavioral experiments. And it could be wearing a short sleeve top to work. What were some of the body image experiments you did with yourself, Cara, and what was the results?
Yeah, one I can think of is actually the shirt I'm wearing at the moment. Normally I would wear very long fronted
I like it. Very nice.
tops. Yeah, thank you. It's actually one of my favorites, but it's actually I wouldn't say it's a crop, but it's cut a lot shorter than what a shirt would usually be for me. So probably where this finishes my pants pretty much start. And for me, that was always a big no-no. And I'm like, but I really love this top, and I got it on sale as well. As I say to my husband, I made us money getting this shirt. I have to wear it, and it was okay. Like I wear this most weeks to work now, and it's not anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. So I guess just jumping in and trying something, you got to be a bit brave, I think. And
Yes.
it's okay to be scared because it's different. You haven't tried it before. But what I'll say is it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I remember
Yes.
growing up, my dad used to always say, no matter, you might be worried about something, but it's never, ever going to be as bad as what you think it's going to be. So I just tell myself that and give things a try.
Such a great message. And I love that you are wearing that top and you're enjoying it, because people think that confidence is something that just shows up one day. Oh, when I lose weight, I'll be confident. But it really is about doing the thing you want to be confident to do. Wearing that top to make yourself realize not everyone's going to care or comment if you're wearing a shorter top or a crop top. And it's great that you've conditioned yourself to wear it ongoingly. And I love that you're wearing it today. That's very symbolic of how far you've come, and you embrace these. And you're right, it takes courage, it takes bravery, but you really have to ask yourself, well, what's the alternative? Am I really never going to wear this top for as long as I live because I'm scared about what other people might think? Am I willing to sacrifice 90% of my life to chase being 10% smaller to do the things I want to do?
That's been a huge learning for me in that you've really helped me see that I shouldn't be waiting until I'm at my ideal weight to enjoy things or do things, because reflecting back 25 kilos ago this time last year, I would have at that time probably loved to have even been 10 kilos lighter. And here I am 25 kilos lighter saying, well, not anymore, but I was sort of saying things like, I can't wear this or do that. And you keep shifting the goalposts. So it's about stopping that, I think. And it's about living for now, not the when I. So just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Listen to Cara. I absolutely love that. And Cara, you were so busy. You are working full time. You've got a young daughter. How old's your daughter?
She's almost 11.
She's almost 11.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with ADHD. How did you find the time to do this? Because I know a lot of mums might be listening to this thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to do something like this, but I don't have the time. Was it arduous? Was it an extra stress, or did you find it manageable?
Not at all. So I did worry initially, thinking, well, how am I going to balance taking on something new and committing to it? But it's actually become part of my life. And I really look forward to those group sessions every week. That's something
Mm.
that I really quite enjoy. And the having the community, I think when I've got 5 minutes, I'll check in and on the app and sort of see how everyone's going and what's happening. So it's not, I would say, imposing on my life at all. It's been something that has been really quite manageable and achievable, and it hasn't taken up much space at all. If anything, it's actually, like I keep saying, it's opened up so much time and space. So yeah, certainly if other mums are thinking about it, I would say, yeah, definitely give it a go.
Yeah, that's so interesting. People think it can take up a lot of time, but it's the time you get back by learning this process and structure. That's my next question is, mums might be wanting to do this, or even women who've struggled with their weight their whole life, or maybe they're restrictive, and they might say to themselves, it's really expensive, I'm not worth it, or I can't afford it. What advice would you say to them? Because I understand sometimes
Mm.
we do say I can't afford it, but other times we know that could also be us being scared or not feeling we're worth it. What would you say about the investment? Because it is an investment, it does take time, it's money, it's investing in yourself. What would you say about sort of the cost and taking that step?
Yeah, so probably a few things, and there is a fee to join, but I think because of what I've learned and being able to put in place in my life in terms of the structure, I'm saving money. So I'm not spending as much money on food as what I was previously. And I think it's because of food freedom for that. So I guess it is an investment, but as investments do, they pay off in the long run. Financially, I'm not spending as much on food, but also as well, I guess the other part of it is I've invested money into diets and programs and things in the past, and have got nothing from it. This is something for me that has really worked. And yeah, it was an investment. And I think as a mum too, sometimes you sort of think, oh, should I spend money on myself? But I just thought if it was my husband, I would have just said to him, "Go for it." He said to me, "Go for it." He's like, "What? Just do it. Why are you even questioning it?" I'm lucky that I've got a lot of support there from my husband, but yeah, I would say it is an investment, but it's worth it.
Yes. And it also is an emotional payoff as well, because either you're going to pay with your time, you're going to pay with your life, you're going to pay emotionally, but sometimes just putting the financial investment can give you so much more of a payoff financially, emotionally, and in many other ways. And has it influenced the way you parent, or has it changed how you show up for your daughter in any way?
Yeah, I think it has. I think we do things like we cook and bake together. I probably have more time to do fun things with her, is what I would say is another thing I've got from it. Yeah, I would say how I as well talk about food around her. That's probably another big part where it's changed, and hopefully that'll have positive impacts on her for life.
Mm.
But yeah, I think just being more available because I'm not so consumed around food and thinking around that is I've got more headspace. And yeah, I would say that, yeah, it has freed up time that I can spend with her.
Oh, that's
Mm.
incredible. And you're doing such amazing things, Cara. You should be so proud. You've put in so much effort and you really deserve the outcome and everything that has happened. And your results were just so different from when I first met you and spoke to you to now. It's just, you're in such a different space. And I feel very lucky to have been able to be part of this journey with you. So, any words of wisdom for anyone who might be thinking about joining or thinking of booking a call, or they're thinking, oh, maybe it's not that bad? What might you say to them?
I would say if you've got the curiosity, if you're wondering, just do it. I think if this is an aspect of your life that you haven't really focused on before, I think if you've tried other things and they haven't worked, you've got nothing to lose, really. That's how I sort of looked at it. I thought this is one thing I've not addressed. And I'm so glad I just took the chance and did it. And particularly for someone too with ADHD, or you suspect that you
Mm.
may have ADHD, I'd really encourage you to think about it, because I think the benefits I've also got from the program in the food structure, yes, but that's also supported different aspects of how the ADHD presents itself. My executive functioning has improved so much. I've got more energy. Decision fatigue is something that's basically non-existent now. And I think if it wasn't for food freedom, I'd still be struggling with those aspects of the ADHD. Yeah, I'm very grateful for the program, for finding it, and for all of your support, Steph. You've been fantastic.
Oh, well, I'm grateful for you. And thank you so much, Cara, for coming on the podcast, taking time out of your busy life and day. And I know this is going to help so many women who might be on the fence or thinking about it. And if this is, you can book a one-on-one call with me. It's absolutely free. We'll see whether the program is a good fit for you. The link is below. Make sure you share this episode with someone you think might need to hear it. Share, comment. Every engagement helps us get to more people. And a massive thank you for listening to the podcast today. Cara, you've been amazing. I can't thank you enough. I'm really excited to see how your holiday goes. Maybe we need to do a part 2 when you come back.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, you have the best holiday. And yeah, I want to say congratulations. You've come so far. You've put the work in. And I can't wait to see what's in the future for you as well.
Me too. Thanks so much, Steph.
Thank you.
Did you know by taking 2 seconds to leave a rating or a review, you help me get the podcast out to more listeners just like you who could really benefit from the information? I appreciate all your support and thank you for tuning in.